before, so I feel you.
So you know how it feels when the back is bothering. You're like standing feels a little better than sitting. That's where I'm at right now. I got a little juice. Warriors win 141-139. Welcome to Light Years presented by Sleeper. Do we have in-season tournament fever?
Hyped? That was a playoff game, dude. Actually, that was a playoff game. I know 141-139, whatever. Throw that out the window.
That was an early season, maybe not the best executed playoff game, but playoff intensity nonetheless.
Last 5 minutes, man. Steve Kerr treated like that like it was a playoff game. You know, the one thing about the Warriors, Sam, is they are just great for the NBA. There's no better team for the NBA than the Golden State Warriors. There isn't.
No, it's dude. My phone is blowing up with just angry non-Warrior fans having feelings about Draymond. Oh, the league's fixing it for the Warriors. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no offense, but if you're playing technicalities that he may have touched the rim on a basket that was going in and he didn't affect, that's some.
We're back in 2015, right? We're back in 2016. It's just like anytime the Warriors win, it's a technicality. You know, even Draymond did the whole Draymond and OKC thing. You know, he's getting reviewed on a shot going up when it's obvious it's not a flagrant, but somehow they review that. But Sam, they didn't review the one on Clay where Jalen Williams dives straight into his balls. It's just a classic Golden State Warriors. Close game down the stretch in OKC. This was I feel like every Warriors game this season has given me a sweat. Every game.
Gotta love it. Man, I gotta ask you, what do you think? So are we pro in season tournament? Is that where we're at right now? Like, I'm trying to decide. Because I liked it. I liked the intensity behind the game. Don't know if I like the court. Still don't know if I like the general concept of the tournament. But I liked November 3rd. My birthday. I'm watching the Warriors and the Thunder lock in and play basketball the way it's meant to be played intensity wise.
Yeah.
We're not getting that.
You don't think so?
If this doesn't exist.
First off, we buried the lead, as you say. Happy birthday. What is it? 45th, 46th birthday for you? Look at you. The gray and the gray.
Gray's been there for you.
Let's get in here, man. We got a lot of happy birthdays in the comments. You know, I got a lot of.
First off, I am not over 40, so we'll stop. We'll stop on those jokes. I'm gonna hold on to that as long as I can, which is increasingly less and less. No other way around it. Yeah, my guy GT Chong, happy 68th. Take a Tylenol.
Do need a Tylenol. You do need a Tylenol. That's the back pain.
We'll see. I'll be up 3 hours before you. Don't worry about that. I don't know if that makes me young though. I don't know. Anyway,
hey, here's how we know you're still in your prime, brother. I got some texts at 4 a.m. from super producer Tim, and he's sending us Reddit posts, right, of people that are just listening to the Light Years podcast, and they're talking about, oh, you know, we used to hate the podcast, but you know, they're actually pretty awesome. And then a couple rows down, you see a ton of comments go, yeah, you know, I like it, but I just like that one guy with the beard way more than the other guy. And I'm just like, you know, you're still in your prime, man. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I appreciate it. I got the birthday present I wanted, which was a fun game and a Warrior win.
On brand.
I don't know, man. It was let's get to the game, because that was a good time. So like, I feel like the best way to frame it is OKC couldn't miss a shot. Yeah. In a normal game, you probably like the Warriors defense. You probably live with Lou Dort taking threes. Lou Dort isn't going 7 for 7 from 3 normal nights, right? But he did. And they had to dig into it. And I thought, you know, we've said all offseason, for this roster to work, Steve Kerr's going to have to get his Eric Spoelstra on. And that's what I saw with the offense, defense substitutions, with the they go with the Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Kuminga,
yep,
Draymond lineup. And then they switch them for like the midget lineup with like Steph, CP3, GP2, Clay, Draymond, and he's playing offense, defense. It's super active. And it's kind of the roster they are, but that's exactly what I wanted to see. Play your matchups and let Steph take you home.
That was exactly what we wanted to see all off season, because the biggest thing was I just don't know how you're going to be able to play a set lineup all season. One, they're not good enough anymore, right? If Clay was Clay, if Draymond was Draymond, although Draymond looked pretty like his old self tonight, and Clay hit a big three to tie the game. But you don't have Andre Iguodala, right? You don't have even Sean Livingston. You obviously don't have KD. So you can't just play those guys. And then I think that you've got to play GP2 in these closing units. Did you see that steal he had on Jalen Williams? Just perfection. But sometimes you can't roll with him for more than 5 minutes at a time. So then you're going to have to bring in other guys to handle the ball like Chris Paul, right? So I thought Steve Kerr coached this like a playoff game. Didn't you? Like, we haven't really seen him do this all year yet, but this is a game where I think he was tinkering. OKC was hitting bullshit shots, and he was just down to the wire, I thought, clicking the right buttons.
He doesn't have the roster where it's like, all right, my main 5 guys are in, and I'm going to let them do their thing. He has a roster he's got to tinker with. He's like, okay, I got to shut off point of attack. GP2, get out there and just hound him, Okay, I need a little more athleticism because we're getting killed on the glass. Kuminga and Wiggins get in there and crash the glass. By the way, shout out Wiggins. First game all season where I think he really made himself felt rebounding. And they needed it because, this is going to be a theme all year. OKC was more athletic than them. It is what it is, right? Like, they need to get that out there, and pushed all the right buttons. Every player's bought in. I think that's the more important part. They have 10 players. You could easily have a roster where guys are frustrated, they're not playing more. You could see a Moses Moody being like, I deserve more minutes. You could see a Chris Paul, first ballot Hall of Famer, being upset coming off the bench. You can see a Kuminga doing that sort of all stuff, but everyone's bought into buying their role and they're okay with it. And that's how things are moving in a good direction with this team.
I also think win or lose this game, the process would have been the right process for me, right, even if they had lost this game. OKC just made a ridiculous amount of shots. Lou Dort made 7 threes in a row through that game, right?
Just 6.
Yeah, only 6, right? 29 points from Lou Dort. Makes no sense. I'm watching Cason Wallace, who seems like a really promising rookie, but he's making left-hand lays over Draymond. It's like, come on, man. That's an Andrew Nembhard type of behavior from last season, right? So these aren't things that are sustainable. Isaiah Joe, who's a shooter, but he has 16 points, right? So just Josh Giddey looked like he was a prime LeBron flipping shot, running through people and flipping shots in the paint. Like, what is that?
Shout out Josh Giddey. I did not save his game in sleeper fantasy last week. I will be locking this one.
Is this the one? All right.
I think this might be the one.
Yeah.
I'm also running out of games. So
we've got 2 more days. I think I'm going up against Tommy this weekend. I should be able to get that one done. But I'm happy with the process the Warriors have been working through the first 6 games of the season, right? It feels like they're doing everything correctly. I think the only thing that you can say about this team right now is, they're going to lose some of these games when the other team's super young and super athletic, and they just don't got it. I think tonight they had it. I think against Sac they didn't have it, right? How bad Steph looked. He just didn't have any legs. Tonight, Steph looked great. Clay looked great. These guys had their legs under them. But I think throughout the season, they're just going to lose some games because they're old. I think that's just what Chris Paul for 6 tonight, but he had 13 assists. So this was a night where OKC gave you their best game, but the Warriors were up for it. I didn't even know Kuminga had 19 points, Sam. We'll get to it.
Kuminga went through, by the way, it was, I want to say third quarter, they went through a stretch where it was just feed Kuminga in the post. He sealed his man. Chris Paul threw it to him quick. Steph threw it to him quick. And he just, one-on-one on a smaller guy, went to work in that capacity. Kuminga, he's an interesting player for this team because the fit's not perfect. He's young, a little turnover prone, a little kind of like bull in China shop in general, but he's also an absolutely necessary ingredient for this team. I think I said on the last pod, I think he's a necessary agent of chaos for this team. And it seems like this year, unlike last year, there seems to be an acknowledgement on both sides of this is your role. There's going to be games where you're hot and we're going to really let you play to your strengths a little more. And there's going to be games where it's a little smaller, but we want you playing aggressively. We want to take advantage of the things that you do, but we also acknowledge that like you need to get better. You get better at not turning the ball over, and you get better rotating defensively. You need to get better rebounding the ball. You do all those things if you actually want to be that, 35-minute per game player who's an all-star who in his mind he wants to be.
Last year's version of this team, Steve Kerr would have benched him after the first half because Kuminga was pretty bad in the first half. Yeah. And I think that's unfair sometimes, right? Because you need him. It's not like you're a team that is good enough to win without him. At least they weren't last year. And they needed him tonight. You talked about him getting free. I mean, I think part of that is because of Chris Paul too, right? Chris Paul is going in there with a sole
and Neil in the chat brings up last year Jordan Poole was Jordan Poole's irresponsible bucket getter. Poole being gone frees up Kuminga to be that scorer. I think that's part of it too. Do we see this Kuminga if they have Poole instead of Chris Paul? No chance. Like Poole's looking for his own shot, and the coaching staff they have enough on their plate trying to wrangle him in. Whereas Chris Paul, it's the opposite. Chris Paul's like the adult, and he's trying to get Kuminga going. I mean, it ties all together. It's like maybe they should have done this last year. I think you and I both agree they should have done this last year, but like they needed to kind of commit to, you can only have so many youthful projects you're trying to do at the same time. And then you kind of need some other guys who just are smart and kind of do their thing around them.
Yeah, I think that's it. They need enough guys that know how to play their role. And I think Kuminga, you're never going to ask him to be a facilitator type of role. He's not a spot-up shooter type of guy, right? His role is to do what he does today. It's just cut to the rim, get the ball from 8 feet, and he's pretty on it. His touch is pretty great. It reminds me, I mean, like GP doesn't have the touch outside of 10 feet, which Kuminga does. But you get those guys around the rim. They're pretty damn good finishers. You kind of wish... Like for me, you kind of wish Andrew Wiggins was that type of finisher around the rim. He's got that nice post-up flip game. But again, like Andrew Wiggins is a much better three-point shooter than those guys, right? So that bench unit kept them in the game a few times. I thought was huge. It came out they came out of halftime pretty poor, right? This whole game was all over the place, but they had Kuminga and Moody and especially GP2 in there. I think for me, that's the guy that reminds me the most of Iguodala is GP2. Like it's not Moody, it's not Kuminga,
it's not Chris Paul.
It's not, man. When I watch that game-winning steal that you need is GP2. That guy that's standing on baseline and finishing at the rim from a Draymond pass off a 4-on-3, that's GP2. And so
let me take it to another level. It's offensively Chris Paul, defensively GP2, which speaks to the
how great he is,
Steve, and also it speaks to like Kerr having to. I don't want to say evolve, but like it's not easy to coach when you're like, these are my best offensive guys. These are my best. Like you have to be very quick with your subs, right? And that's kind of the roster they have right now. And I feel like he's hitting all the right buttons on that end. It'd be nice if you had just a 6'7" guy who's both of those things.
You could, and that's what made the Warriors so great. Is you just played those guys.
But could you?
Well,
not that easy to find.
No, exactly.
You did, is what you're saying.
I was like, you could, as in you did. You had a few of those guys, right? Even Livingston, but again, different guys. And now you kind of, as great as Wiggins is and Kuminga and Moody hopefully will be, like they'll never be that version of Iguodala. I don't think.
It's a high bar. It's like I'm happy with the rate they're projecting. I don't want to like assume they're going to turn into that guy. It just sets you up for. It's unfair.
What do you think about the ending?
I mean, I liked the way it played out, honestly. I want to take a step back. I think I've said this 4 times on the show. I want to give Steve Kerr credit where I can give him, I think he played it perfectly the entire way through. I think the subs were on point and, Steph hit the game winner as far as I'm concerned. I have a take. Everything I hate about Adam Silver's NBA was on display the last minute of the game where we get an unnecessary 5-minute fucking review of a clearly made basket where all interference had no impact on the play. Draymond touched the rim. Giddey grabbed the net. Both of those are violations. By default, both of those should set off and it should just be a made basket. I didn't need a 2-minute review to ruin what was an awesome moment. Anyone watching it saw in real time interference was two guys crashing the board. It made no impact on the play. Count it. Over. Game winner. Let everyone feel the moment. We don't need lawyers to litigate at all times. That's what it felt like. It felt like a professional setting where it's like, let's bring legal in. Let's bring legal in. I need legal's opinion on this play. We can't, can we just play with intent? Am I wrong? Chat, tell me, am I wrong?
I agree with you. The chat agrees with you. It ruined the moment. It was an incredible shot. Steph could have taken the step back 30-footer, which I thought he was going to. Steph was 5 for 10 from 3. I'd assume he was going to make that shot anyway. But he went in and flipped the ball underhand over Chet Holmgren from not even the paint. He shot that thing from you're right. He shot that baby from 9 feet away. And exactly, that's what happened when the shot went in. Somebody's phone fell and just ruined the moment. You know what I mean? What are we doing here? By the way, did you see in the replay, slow-mo, Fitz in the background fist pumping? And that is a perfect picture to describe Fitz, who I think is great on those type of calls. But, man, he was in his bag tonight with how goddamn insufferable he was. Talking about the Warriors are going to lose this game mid-third quarter down 5. Anyway, back to the Steph shot, Sam. It was bad. It was bad.
Every Lou Dort make, Fitz was like, start the bus. Start the bus.
Dude, he's making a shot. It's okay, man. Just it's all right.
Like I was saying, if he's gonna make shots, all right. Usually that means you're in a bad shape. But you know what? This team's probably better than we give them credit for. I want to throw a couple things out there for why you should be optimistic this team will continue improving. Chris Paul is currently shooting 8%. I don't know. Some joke like that. Actually, no, less than 5% from 3. It's bad. He's not hitting any shots. Now, you could worry and be like, he may never be able to hit a shot again. He may be washed. Or you could be like me, where I'm like, he's probably going to come around a little bit. And the point I'm making is he's not hitting shots in any capacity. Andrew Wiggins, who came alive in the fourth quarter rebounding the ball, has been terrible for most of the season. And then Klay Thompson, he hit some shots this game, but he's at best 60% of what you reasonably expect. Sure, Steph's playing like God, but Steph always plays like God. This team has a lot of room for improvement, and they're already playing good, convincing winning basketball. So, I'm pretty optimistic.
Chris Paul is shooting, to your point, 5% from 3. That is
entering today, and he went 0 for 2, so it's not going up.
So it's under 5% from 3. That is impressive. He's shooting 38% from the field. He dropped off last season, 49 to 44. So I think he's declining. But 5% is ridiculous. Nobody's shooting 5% from 3. He's a 30.
I'm not expecting him to go 50, 40, 90. I'm just expecting him to go better than 5% from 3.
Klay looks better, right? Yeah, Klay's legs look better. I thought he had a couple rough ones against Giddey there when Giddey got hot, but I also thought he stayed up pretty well against Jalen Williams and Giddey at the end, had a nice defensive position against Chet. So I think people are so quick to talk about, Klay can't guard anymore when he gives up a bucket. Newsflash, dude, in today's NBA, everyone gives up buckets. He's not as great as he was previously, but he isn't a sieve. And so, he's gotten a little better. I love this quote. Let's talk about this for a second because I got some takes on this.
Let me play it real quick.
Yeah.
We need to leave last year in the rearview mirror. We have a decade of experience closing games, winning close games, winning championships. So last year was the exception. This year is the rule.
What does it say about your resolve that you guys were able to finish the way you did?
It says we are who we are. There's a reason. These guys have hung banners. They're wearing rings. They're good at this.
It seems like a message you're almost trying to get out there that stop talking about last year. I mean,
yes.
That?
And I'm talking to you guys.
Okay.
You know what? I don't disagree with him. Last year sucked, and they deserve all the criticism they got for it. But they also deserve a certain level of grace. They're the best team of the last decade. They won 4 titles. They've been to 6 finals in 9 years. The years they didn't go to the finals, literally people had torn ligaments in their legs. That's it. They've been the best team in the NBA for a decade. Steph's been the best player in the NBA for a decade. Where is the grace extended to a team having one off year?
I also think it's unfair to
the chat saying Anthony Lamb played. Come on.
I think it's a little piling on. I think Steve's more, and he's not going to say this out loud. I think it's more he doesn't want to have all this blame go to Jordan Poole, because I think whenever guys talk about this is last year's problem, the chemistry is so much better. I thought Draymond's quote about the chemistry being so much better and that people hate going to work last year, I thought it was a ridiculous quote. Just completely ridiculous and not aware. And to Luke's point in the comment, just move on. I just think Steve doesn't want it to be, oh, everybody's piling on Jordan Poole, even though some of the blame is to him, but everybody's using that as kind of fuel. I think you can use that, but they're making it public, Sam. It's unfit for a team this old and mature and has won this much to act like this. To act
That's
like,
true.
oh, it's Jordan Poole this, it's Jordan Poole that. Dude, Jordan Poole's gone, man.
That's true.
He's in a terrible situation. He loses. He sucks. He doesn't take the game seriously, but he also gets paid $35 million. He's living the dream. And the Warriors are now 5-1. They're 4-0 on the road, right? They're living the dream too. So can we stop?
You're right.
You and I can keep talking about it because we have a podcast that people like. So we can talk about it. But I just don't like it when Draymond goes out there and is talking about it. Right? It's annoying.
You're right. I mean, do I disagree with what Draymond said? No.
Right.
Should he have said it? No. It's a dick comment. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I do think credence should be given to Steve, where he's just like, enough. These guys aren't perfect, but they've proven over the last decade they're winners. Stop overreacting to the fact that last year didn't go the way you expect Warrior basketball to go.
Yeah. And
I think that's putting the league on notice a little bit. I think that's also for his team to be like, you guys are still those dudes. Don't play down. Be champion. Act like champions. Stop playing down to Twitter trolls. Stop playing down because some dude in Spaces says the dynasty ended. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Act your age, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's kind of supplementally calling out Draymond and be like, dude, get over it. It
exactly.
is what it is.
Yeah.
You're champion. Stop reacting to people saying stuff because they're gonna say stuff every day. You can win 4 titles in a row and you lose a game, people be like, I told you who wasn't that good. That's social media, that's the internet in 2023.
Yeah. I'm with you. That happened with Clay too, right? So
yeah. And it's on some of them, I can't blame them. Because you and I can react to that stuff too, and God knows it's more in their mentions than mine. Or
yeah.
So
yeah.
Should we get some goons?
I hope I hope they stop it. Yeah. Before we get to the goons, as everyone knows, this week's Light Years podcast is brought to you by Sleeper Basketball. Sleeper Basketball. Let's go. By the way, Sleeper Daily Fantasy Basketball. So here's the thing, right? Here's how it works. If you're not using the Sleeper app for DFS, Sam is. Here's what you do. So tonight, you can, in theory, take Steph, and you can take Chet Holmgren to hit their overs on points, rebounds, assists. So if I'm
kicking myself I didn't take Lou Dort.
That's what I'm. Well, if you took Lou Dort, you're getting paid, which is exactly the point, right? If you took Lou Dort tonight, you're getting paid 100x. So if you think you know basketball, then try to turn your basketball knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, the ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app, pick more or less on your favorite players. If your favorite player is Lou Dort, with more stats than any other DFS app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite guys from pregame or live. So you can pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you can win up to 100 extra money if your picks win. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Promo code LIGHTYEARS.
Yeah. LIGHT YEAR. Yes.
Light
years.
Let's go.
I can spell. Let's get some goons. Let's get those goons. Here, I got Mikas up here.
Lead off. Let's go.
Yo, boy.
Oh, boy. Where are we at?
Yo, boys. How we doing?
Good.
I was closing at my restaurant. I was in the back doing some folds, and my side work took, an extra 40 minutes because I had to stop, get up, watch the game. And then, I got to say, amazing game. The refs down the stretch was a real ref show. Like, the final 3 minutes of NBA games don't need to be 25 minutes real time.
That's what we are culturally aligned on this issue.
And it had shades of last year. Where it was like a game that we were battling. We were there. We were in it. And the refs were just trying to snatch it from us. But here's the thing I know about the basketball. It's honest and it's truthful. And it's never lied. The ball has always been an honest and truthful ball, and I've always felt that way. I just want to know for you guys, rank these 4 teams in terms of fan bases that hate Steph Curry the most. Houston, Portland, Cleveland, and OKC. I think there's a strong case it's Houston, but I mean, how many times does Steph in OKC have to buzzer beat these fucking fools? Vibes are back, and I've been looking at those title odds because, man, they're looking good. In the clutch, especially, when it comes down to winning time, these guys have it. So, love you, boys. Have a great show.
Love you, Beacons.
So
get home safe.
I don't think OKC or Houston are on the same level as Cleveland and Portland. Cleveland and Portland are resentful. They're very angry, resentful cities.
By the way, I agree with you on Cleveland. The way you said resentful cracks me up.
It's very
resentful.
Yeah, they feel like their guy's better, and they feel like the media is doing something to stop them. Houston has moved on. They don't love James Harden anymore. They hate their own team right now. They're kind of envious of Steph. They're like, they used to take the Hardens better than Steph's side. They've watched the way the Harden thing played out. They're like, it would have been nice to have Steph, to be honest. I mean, less drama,
yeah. I think Cleveland. Neil says Cleveland booed Steph at the All-Star game. I mean, I think it's Cleveland. By the way, shout out Mikas, who's watching the game at work. So he gets off work an hour late, calls us before he hits the subway. That's peak light years goon mentality right there. I'm going Cleveland 1. I'm gonna go OKC 2. Sam, you got Portland 2. I'm gonna go OKC 2. I'm gonna go 2. Yeah, I got OKC 2. And then I actually got Portland last, and then Houston 3rd. I got OKC 2 because KD left. And they lost to the Warriors, and then watch KD go to the Warriors. It's gotta be disgusting. I mean, that's gotta be. I mean, that's it. There's a 4-letter word for that starts with a C.
I hear you on that, but they've got over it, is my theory.
Yeah.
I think they've
got a really good team. So
they do. They got a lot of young players. They got a lot of players I like.
Hey, can I get a quick takeoff before we get the next guy on?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Josh Giddey, and SGA. I know SGA's usage rate is really high. They're going to have to figure out how to get guys touches, because what I watched tonight from Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey, you don't see that normally when SGA plays. And there's a point where you get to diminishing returns, especially with these younger players. Which one's going to be the role player guy? Are they young enough to want to play that role player guy? Is Josh Giddey just happy being just passing the ball?
Dude, how much does it remind you of KD, Steph, or KD, Harden, and Russ? Different players, but I'm with you on that.
It's tricky, man. It's tricky.
I think specifically between Jalen and SGA, because those dudes are just scorers who want the ball in their hands. Giddey's a little more of a playmaker.
He can play off ball, he can pass, and SGA is going to be happy with that. But Jalen Williams hasn't been invisible all year, right? He's been invisible. Yeah. And it's kind of hard. And Chet's going to get his, because it's Chet. He's probably the guy that's most talented out of all those players. He's a big man, right? He's going to get his. So I think it's tricky.
He doesn't need a lot of touches. That's the other thing about Chet. He's just easier to play with than those guys.
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I think, but it's just something to watch for.
Which one of them is going to be a Warrior? No,
that's what I'm trying to say. I do think one of those guys, and I think it's probably Jalen Williams, is going to say hey, this is not going to work for me, right?
They don't have to make that decision now, but I agree with you. When you're watching it, you're like, you will not be able to make these 4 players last for more than 2 years.
No. No.
You're going to lose one.
They didn't. I watched this team. They didn't play like this the last 5 games when SGA's on the court. This is not how they play.
No, it's funny. They're repeating last time's issues, but like, hey man, get the talent and figure it out. Right?
Exactly. So, I mean, there's nothing. Trust these guys.
As a team who watched the Warriors draft a lot of untalented guys, I'd rather have this problem than the other problem. All right, let's keep moving. What's up, man?
Hey, how you guys? I just come home for Diwali. My God, these games take for fucking forever towards the end. I don't know what is wrong with these people. I mean, I have places to go to. I was like jet lagged as fuck, and then in the middle of all this, like like the last 30 seconds take like 30 minutes or whatever. I don't know what is wrong with them. I actually have 2 questions to ask you guys. Number one, Curry is playing like 31 minutes a game right now. He's playing like 31 minutes a game right now, which is like down from his usual rotation. He normally goes for like 34, 35 minutes. If it's a close game, he'll even go a bit higher. Is this just like a new thing that he's like, old now, we're not gonna let him play like higher minutes, even if the game is really close? And then the other thing is like there's something weird going on with the lineups that he's running. It feels like Kerr himself doesn't know what he's doing half the time. Like he'll put in like Moody in there, then he'll be like, oh crap, this is not working, take him out, put someone else in. Like it's just like a rotating carousel of guards. How long do you think it'll take him to like figure this stuff out? Sometimes he'll put like Chris Paul and Curry in together, and then like they're getting killed on defense, and he'll take them out. And then he'll put in like GP to, and it's like, oh crap, he can't score anymore. And like the lineups keep changing. There's no like set rotation right now. I think it's encouraging, but still winning. But it's still a bit chaotic to watch.
I appreciate the call. I think so I feel like
let's hit the questions.
Yeah. So it's like Steph is only playing 31 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn it. I think that's good. I think that's great.
Yeah,
I think as long as they're generating wins, Steve's number one priority is how can I keep Steph's minutes down in the regular season, right? We're in what? They played 6 games? Sorry. 6. They got 76 more of them to go. And then they got the playoffs. And
don't for him, maybe 77 in season.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. But my point is, like, let's be realistic. Steph's old. Yeah. They want to be on the Spurs plan. They want to be on the Steph playing 29 to 30 minutes a game plan. I don't think it's realistic, but that's what they want to be on. In a perfect world, that's what they will be on. And then when you get to that game 4 in Boston, that's where you're like, Steph, I'm going to need you to dig deeper.
42.
Get it. But like, he can't be going 40 minutes in November. If he's going 40 minutes in November, the season's cooked.
Yeah, the season's done. I'm actually a little shocked he played 31 tonight. I thought he played more than that. And again, goes.
It felt like I don't know. It felt like 33 is what I'm going to say, which sounds dumb as hell, but whatever.
Like 35, 36, which is last year what he would have played, maybe even 38. And which is, it's why Chris Paul is there. Chris Paul played 28 tonight, which is about where he should be, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And sure. Chris Paul was able to get guys like Kuminga and Wiggins involved. I mean, they threw Wiggins in there with Chris Paul in the second unit too to get some juice. Because he's the guy that he can get other people buckets, but those other people can't get their own buckets. Like Wiggins and Kuminga, or Clay, anytime they start dribbling, fucking it all goes to hell.
It's not a win. It's not a win
for the defense, right? So it's so it's good when they have a guy like Chris Paul there. And then to his other point with the substitutions, I mean, we talked about this earlier. I kind of like it. I know it's kind of crazy. It's kind of high school-y, maybe like college basketball-y when he does put Moses Moody in there for 3 minutes, or GP2 is playing a couple possessions, offense, defense. But dude, that's what they have to do.
It's very like high school, college basketball. But like honestly, like we said, like he needs to be more like Spoelstra. Spoelstra does that. Like he coaches the Heat like they're a college team. You know what I'm saying? Like
they are a college team. That's why they can never win.
It's just fucking slap the floor and get into it defensively, right? You know,
because they don't have a talent.
But I don't. But I
have to do.
But like. What's the alternative? What is the better strategy with this team, right? So
yeah, you can't just leave like tonight. You can't just leave Kuminga out there, right? Especially offensively, or you can't take GP2 out because you need him. I mean, he literally stripped Jalen Williams.
Well, at some point, we're going to talk about like GP, just the midget lineup, the adult lineup, where it's just Steph, CP, GP, Like that shouldn't work. They're all your height, or they're all our height or smaller. Like it just shouldn't work. It shouldn't work.
It's in moments, and we'll get the next guy. In spurts, like it'll work, right? Like 3-4 possessions, which is what Kerr is counting on. By the time the other team figures it out, the one it won't work against is LeBron, because once LeBron sees it, LeBron's gonna go, all right, everybody slow down, give me the ball in the paint, right?
Sure.
That's anyway.
Sure.
Whoa, somebody's dog.
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
That's a super fun game. I don't know how to feel about the in-season tournament, but I feel like this game would have been a nothing game otherwise, and I'm like kind of okay with that. I'm with you there, where it's like, okay, would I care this much otherwise? No. So take the win. Yeah, my one thing is that I noticed last game was as they were running back down the floor, transitioning on defense, Kuminga was the one calling out their defense. I thought that was super interesting. Then I realized he would be the most senior player on the court at that point, because it was like Kuminga, CP3, Saric, and like Gary Payton, and I was like, oh, he's been on the team for the longest of those guys. He's calling the defensive plays. I thought that was super interesting. I mean, Kuminga, I still think of him as like a baby, but he's been on the team for longer than a bunch of the guys on the team now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Kuminga growth it's fun to see different things in every game, and I appreciate the call.
Is that a Cubs hat? He's gone.
Oh no, that's my bad. Anyway, I feel like Kuminga every game shows us something new. So,
I didn't even know that he was 2 years younger than me with age. It never hits me. Oh, he said it is a Cubs hat. I was gonna ask him a baseball question, but we'll keep it moving.
Oh, this is my guy.
Look at this. Look at this.
How y'all doing?
Wow. Good. What's up, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing? This was an unbelievable win, man. Oh,
are you gonna come up? You're gonna come up with a new CP3 AV every time. It's freaking amazing.
Of course, you got the big boss man. The cop as usual. Blue lives matter, as we all say. But
respect authority.
Indeed. This was like a phenomenal win. Fakest shooting I've ever seen in my life. Fakest, like Lou Dort, like fakest game I've ever seen. Let's look at next game's box scores for the Thunder, and we're just going to see how fake it is. But what I was going to say is, where's Trace Jackson Davis? Was he sent down to Santa Cruz?
He was.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's a good question.
This would have been a perfect game to put in the minutes for him. I think Looney had, how many fouls he had this game?
4. He only played 11 minutes.
I think this game would have been perfect for him. I mean, he's young, he's spry, and I just feel like there was no reason to send him down to Santa Cruz. But I'm bearing the lead. Like, this was such a great win. I don't know how to describe it. I know we said we were going to wait like 20 games to just, completely say, all right, this is a championship team. I'm going in it right now after this game.
I love it.
Locked in.
Do you guys feel that way? Or you guys
I do.
Wait?
I do. I am.
Ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave. Ride the blue wave.
I'm willing to say I know I'm too early, and it's not logical. But history has shown me when you have a team this locked in with Steph Curry, good things happen by the end of the year. You either believe that Steph's the best player of this generation or you don't. And I tend to think he is.
Oh,
I'm very in on this team. I'm buying it. A lot of work to be done, but I feel positive. Andy knows I feel positive on this. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And then, like, one more thing. I was really ready to shit on Wiggins for this game until that fourth quarter. How come we just are now seeing, like, this effort from him? I just don't get it. Like, where was this effort games ago? Like, what's with them? Is it just psyche?
If people had the answer, the Andrew Wiggins dilemma would be solved always. But that's how he is, right? It's how he always has been. I feel like the only time any team has ever gotten anything out of him being a dog is 2022 NBA postseason. You know what I mean?
That's true, but like, what made him tap in that fourth quarter? That just like out of nowhere, it's like, holy shit! Like
that's Andy are gonna make a documentary, like the quest for the dog. Let's figure out what makes Wiggins go.
Hey, it's that little people lineup though.
I do think. Look, he's had a bad start to the season, but like positive. He came through. He's rebounding the ball. It does feel like he's kind of coming around in one way or another. And more importantly, it seems like the team is like okay. Like they don't treat him like he's a star. They treat him like he's a role player. They're like, we believe in you. We think you're going to come around. And you know what? If you're not there, we'll just close with someone else. And everyone seems okay with that. And so, can't get too like they're winning. They're winning right now.
True. Exactly.
So you got to kind of roll with it as that way, and then we'll see where it lands. Because like I think I agree with where you're going, which is in the playoffs they need more out of him.
Exactly.
We just seen it's November 3rd.
That's true. But thanks for having me on, guys. Great win.
Appreciate you, my man. Have a great evening.
6 games in, talking championship. I fucking love the Light Years Goons. I'll tell you that right now. I love them. I love them. I can't stop watching this Steph layup. Can I just, before we get to the next guy, the way
Should I pull it up?
Yeah, if you have it, pull it up. Also, V's, sorry if I got your name wrong, but he talked about Trace Jackson Davis. He's right, and I think a lot of people brought this up. He should have played tonight, if only it was a couple minutes to see what he looked like. They, I think, are just trying to get the minutes so that he can play 35. But yeah, Trace Jackson Davis is good enough to play 10 minutes a game right now in the NBA. So anyway,
Steph gets moving at 5. Going a great defender at 3. Curry sidestep. Curry drive. Curry flip. Curry good.
Fitz is just still got an elite call, but yeah, go for it. Sorry.
No, the blow by just amazes me, right? You watch it, he goes with the left to right crossover, and then he like pulls back on the crossover a little bit, like he's gonna shoot a pull up, so it's just a standard counter move, and then he just goes straight by Lou Dort, who's a pretty damn good defender, and then floats it up underhand over Chet Holmgren, who's 7'3". I just don't. It's just not normal. And what's Steph? And your height, Sam? He's like 6'3". Like it's ridiculous.
And I think the part we leave out here is he went to his move at 7 seconds. They cleared out to ISO at 20. So he sized it up the entire way. So it's one of those things where it's like people say Steph can't go one-on-one. Oh, he needs a screen. He needs to do this. It's like he slowed it down like he was James Harden. He's like, everyone get out of the way. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to make you bite at the fake and go. And I'm not saying those critiques were ever worthy of response, but like he's by far the most skilled player in basketball.
Yeah.
He has no weakness. He can do whatever the fuck he wants at any time. He can play on ball. He can play off ball. He can play fast. He can play slow. He can shoot from 40 or he can take it to the rim. Like there's no weakness in any part of his game. Now I sound like ball don't stop. Like, that sort of thing. But it's like the fact is like he actually can do all those things. He's not theoretically doing those things. He can actually do all those things. And it was fun to watch him close the game in a way that Steve Kerr doesn't typically allow him to, which is
no decoy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like kind of like, okay, tie game, 30 seconds left. Let's get this down to, get it down to the end of the shot clock and let you go one-on-one. And you know what? To your point, jukes one of the best ISO defenders and finishes over the top of a guy who's going to win a Defensive Player of the Year. A guy who's like, 7?
At some point. Wemby might not let him, but yes, right up there.
In theory, but like, it's freakish stuff. And he makes I think the way I know Steph is just ridiculous. He makes it look easy. He doesn't make it look hard. He makes it look easy so people think it's like a system thing. I'm like, man, the system doesn't work with Court Joseph. The system doesn't work with
James Harden voice. I am the system.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's one of those things where it's like this doesn't work if you put I don't know, Brad Wanamaker in there. You know, they put whatever you want in there. Like it's him. It's him.
You
the whole
way. Kyrie in there. I mean, that's like it doesn't work. Come on, what are we doing? You know
sure, Kyrie's phenomenal, making shit look more complicated than it needs to be.
Hey, that's a good one. I'm stealing that one.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong though?
I'm stealing it. Not wrong.
All right, let's get to our guy Jacob. What's up, man?
Hey, happy birthday, Sam. You're the Kevon Looney. You're the Kevon Looney of podcasters, man. That's all I gotta say. Just in every night, putting in the work. But no,
look at old as hell, but maybe not as old as you think, but not quite sure. Does he have how many hip replacements? It's unclear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're ambiguous in age, and I think that's a great thing. I think that's great. No, but seriously, I could go on and on about this game, but like I just don't really know what to do with myself after the 3-7 start last year. And through 6 games, we have a third of the road wins. We have the entirety of last season. How am I not supposed to be saying title or bust right now? And I think a huge part of that, you guys have talked about it, but like speaking of Looney, the only guy in a 10-man rotation tonight that played less than 18 minutes. And you look at that second unit and oh my goodness, no more Anthony Lamb BS. We have CP3, who I have had many names for over the years, has a 9-to-1 assist to turnover ratio through 6 games. And granted, Mr. Paul has to stay healthy, which, you know, we've seen over the years has been questionable. But last season, one Mr. Jordan Poole had a 1.5 assist to turnover ratio. So I think that's a thing to think about, thing to talk about. It was a quintessential Draymond game. The dude did just ungodly things on both ends of the floor and then also made some, you know, questionable things. I thought something that got kind of overshadowed by the last play was that charge he tried to take on Chet. Like, with the way that the refs were blowing the whistles all game, you kind of forced the refs to blow the whistle there and fall in on the ground with Chet running into you. But whatever. We're getting in the weeds. But I will be in Cleveland on Sunday.
It's Draymond giving up.
Yeah.
We need an in-person check-in.
You're going to be in Cleveland. I missed that. So you said you're going to be in Cleveland. Okay.
I am going to be in Cleveland on Sunday.
Right.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing. The last time I saw Steph play in person was the MLK Day game against the Bulls last season when he had 8 turnovers.
The season. That was probably Jordan Poole's fault too.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Jordan Poole's fault. It was James Wiseman's fault too.
Without a doubt, it was Wiseman's fault. Are you going to go to the Wiseman revenge game in Detroit?
You know what? I do have a full-time job now, which is sad. So I will not be at the James Wiseman revenge game, but I will be watching it, of course, locked in like the rest of us. But
I need you to promise us, because we're going to be live after the Cleveland game and we're ending the pod on this. I need you checking in. I need a sights and sounds from Cleveland, because it is my personal opinion Cleveland is the most resentful arena in America. I think you're gonna hear stuff about Steph that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh boy.
And I need America to know that they made Cleveland a sweetheart, and that is not the city they should be doing that about. I need someone on the ground. I need you to be my guy on the ground to be like, the truth is out. These are some bad apples here. I need the truth.
I will win a Pulitzer for the work I do on Sunday. No, my last question though is I have a Steph Curry jersey and I have a Sean Livingston jersey. You got to wear the Curry jersey, right?
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely.
I would like 7 out of 10 cities say go Livingston because it's like a little more hipster, and that's kind of my vibe.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Considering, yeah, exactly. But considering how Cleveland feels,
yep.
Yes, this is a no brainer.
Just be careful.
If this was Detroit, I'd be like Livingston, But
sounds good, boys.
Cleveland.
I will report back on Sunday. You can count on it, win or lose. But at this point, we're winning the title. It's going to be a win. I'll see you Sunday.
Appreciate it.
Stay safe. It's a great call.
Now I'm just saying, I'm ready for him to call in mobile on Sunday, being like, guys, they still hate us.
That's awesome. I mean, Cleveland's struggling this year. Garland just got back, but Sam,
they're gonna blame Steph again.
No, I'm worried about that team, man. Our guys Carter Rodriguez and Justin Rowan are not having a good time this year.
I mean,
I'm worried about
can we be honest? They were not serious. People got high on the Cleveland thing last year because they wanted to feel good for them because LeBron left. Deep down, you and I both know that's not a real team. They're not going anywhere.
You're right.
They're not like who on Cleveland could you ever see being the best player on a conference finals team?
I mean, conference finals. Yeah, I mean, maybe Mitchell. I can see it, but look at tonight. You watch Chet Holmgren, and then we're gonna watch Evan Mobley on Sunday, and I know, you know, what I mean, the difference is enormous. It's gonna be enormous when you watch those guys. I know Mobley had a nice game the other day too, but
Mobley's good. They got good players.
He's good.
They have very good players. I'm not saying they don't have good players. I'm saying they don't have great players.
But you know, Chet could be, I think, pretty clearly a number 2 on a title team. Maybe number 1, who knows? That's very hard. But he's very clearly could be a number 2. Mobley's like what? Maybe a number 3 on a title team, right? He's maybe a number 3, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, he's like Zaza.
We'll see. But I'm
not buying. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go have some fun.
See you guys Sunday night. Happy birthday, Samuel.
Appreciate you.